The 2019 campaign is off to a perfect start for the NOLA Gold as they've won their first 2 matches of the season and sit atop the Major League Rugby standings. The Seattle Seawolves are the defending MLR champions and come to New Orleans looking to avenge last week's loss to San Diego. Major League Rugby is straight ahead as Seattle and NOLA battle it out next on CST. Live from Gold Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana, Cox Sports Television is proud to present NOLA Gold Rugby. Today, the NOLA Gold take on the Seattle Seawolves. Hey, and welcome to Gold Stadium. Here we are. I'm Scott Alexander, along with Australian National Rugby legend right here, Mark Stabina, and of course, local NOLA legend here. He played club rugby. His name, of course, is Ian McNulty. Hey, by the way, the NOLA Gold are in their 3rd match of the season, and they are in sole possession of first place. Hey, let's take a look at the standings right here, Mark. How about this? This team is 2-0 in their first 2. They have outscored everybody by a large margin as far as the rest of the league is concerned. But what does it mean when you look at the record and the total points?
We have a look there on maximum points, which means they've won each of those games, which is worth 4 points, but they've scored a bonus point in each for having 4 tries or more. That just shows how good their attack is this year. After only 2 games, they stand alone on top of the table.
Hey, and Ian, look at this. Last week, Taylor Houghton, who was the captain of the team last year, he was coming off the bench the first game because of the international rules where the guys went and played for their home countries. Right. Well, he got a start, and by the way, he got 2 tries in the first half of the game, and he also was the MLR Player of the Week.
Well earned. Scott, NOLA Gold is loving Taylor Houghton. Back for his 2nd season. This guy can do it all. He has the moves to make you miss. He's good on defense, and when he has to run through you, he can make you wish that you did miss. Some of the plays that he laid down in that game against the Glendale Raptors, Glendale they're not used to getting that kind of treatment out of a center. The NOLA Gold, Taylor Houghton, he's just rocking it.
Hey, by the way, Seattle is the defending champions from last season. Brock Stoller is one of the main reasons why he is the star wing player for the Seawolves.
He certainly is, Scott. A prominent figure in the men's national Canadian team. He's been around a while. He can do anything, utility back. But the thing about Brock Stoller is he's got a massive boot. NOLA need to be disciplined today because he can put a ball over from 60 meters out. So here is one to watch today.
Hey, what a game we have coming up. A match between the NOLA Gold Rugby, who are the first place team in MLR, against the defending champions of the league, the Seattle Seawolves. Coming up next on Cox Sports Television, it's NOLA Gold Rugby. NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being brought to you. NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being brought to you by Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the official beer of the NOLA Gold. By Boomtown, the official hotel and casino of the NOLA Gold. And by Louisiana Tourism. Don't live in the moment, be the moment, and feed your soul. Let's take a look at the NOLA Gold starting lineup. It's powered by NOLA LED.
Okay, Scott Gale is missing from today's NOLA Gold lineup because of injury. Nick Feeks is going to have to step in his place. He's at number 10. That's such a clutch position. And then look for the debut of Ignacio Dottie. You're locks here. Looking for a big game from him.
Hey, Mark, let's take the Seawolves lineup.
Well, the Seawolves just riddled with superstars. Look at that pack. Watch out for number 8, Rickert Hadding. And the beast, Eric Deschel, always in the thick of the action. Very hard man to stop. And the back line as well. Talk about superstars. Suniula, Seema, the youngster coming in. And watch for Matt Turner at fullback as well. And the reserves, once again, here are the finishers of the match. Keep an eye on the experience of the Seawolves. They're not last year's champions for no reason. Lots of superstar players in both lineups.
Well, here's the kickoff coming up right now, just in a few seconds. Once again, I'm Scott Alexander with Mark Stabina, along with Ian McNulty, and we're ready for match 3 for the NOLA Gold.
And an exciting match it should be here in New Orleans as Ben Seema gets us underway. It's round 3 of the second season of the Major League Rugby competition. Very closely contested season already. And the keys to the game, if we have a look, NOLA Gold, they need to play the full 80 minutes against last year's champions. 2 games in a row, they've started well, and they've taken the foot off the pedal after the second half.
And of course, these are the Washington Federal keys to the game. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Scott. Very important. And also NOLA, they just need to slow down. Oh, Deschel right through the middle. Right in the middle of my keys of the game. There's one of the keys of the game. Stop that big man. NOLA need to do that. Already, the Seawolves off to a great start. Taking it wide early. Now bringing it back to the middle. Seema hitting Khalifi. Same way now for the Seawolves. Seema behind the back pass. Suniula. And finds Tucker, still going back on the inside. Could this be an early try for the Seawolves? Scrambling defense. Elof puts that last man down. Possible try saver. Ball goes to ground. Feeks come through, but it's retained by the Seawolves. And now at the back, Nakatini. Nowhere to go. Slowing the ball down. Battering his way up is Khalifi again. Seema. Hands to Suniula, switch pass, Russell Liga leaves without it, straight into the hands of the number 7, Zach Striffler.
NOLA Gold got extremely lucky there on 2 consecutive plays. That ball comes out, breaking up what looked like sure tries in the making. I think we're going to see Seawolves take these points while they can get them. Set up here for a chip shot, penalty shot.
So what was the exact penalty on that play, Ian?
Looked like that was an intentional knock. Offsides, rather. Of course, in rugby, you've got to be behind that ball at all times. And NOLA Gold got a little antsy on the defense there.
That's right, Ian. You see the referee playing advantage, allowing the Seawolves to potentially score a try despite having an infringement against them, but then the drop pass by Russellika was deemed no advantage by the referee, so it came back to that original penalty. And the Seawolves have posted the first score of the match through Brock Stoller. 3 points to 0 here at Gold Stadium.
I think for NOLA, this gives them a little chance to regroup. That was all Seattle start there for the first few minutes. A pretty relentless attack.
And by the way, this is the first deficit the NOLA Gold have faced all season long. Down 3-0 in the early going.
Khalifi brings us forward. Now Hattie, South African, adds to the yardage. Down the short side, nearly getting through is Tucker. Gets it back quickly. JP Smith finds Seema. Suniula through the hands now, the Seawolves. Turner, dangerous player, 7 specialist. Gets it back. Playing Jeff Very quick ball here, the Seawolves. Bidens comes in, might have turned it over. He's got his sneaky little paws on the ball. Unable to turn it over on that occasion, but it will be a penalty now. The referee saying the tackler did not roll away there, Ian.
That's right. Every impact of this ball is a contest for it. That's just one of the great things about rugby. Every time that these two, the offense and defense comes together, there's an opportunity to contest for that ball. However, the tackler must roll away. The ball carrier must give it up. In that case, NOLA Gold hung on to it a bit too long.
Yeah.
We must mention the most important man on the field is referee Derek Summers, ordering that penalty.
A lot is up to him and his view, his opinion of what transpired before his eyes, his flexibility with the laws or his strict interpretation of them.
Line out throw, stolen by NOLA. Bring it now out of their territory. Out to Feeks. Puts it high and long, Turner's under it. Easy take for him. He sends it back, equally as high as the Feeks kick. Feeks comes through, no one's able to handle it. Let's see what the referee says. Maybe a knock on by the Seawolves player coming through. But that was a contest for a very high kick.
If I was wrong, I was wrong.
Now watch this. Right out of this line out, New Orleans steals it. That's just a wonderful take by NOLA Gold. Gets some good yardage there. Fortunately, can't keep it moving.
It's a little early.
We revert
It's a
to
little early in the game.
that battle for position, kicking back and forth, each team trying to feel out the other, hoping for a mistake. We restart with a scrum, our first of the game. Let's see how the NOLA Gold and the Seattle Seawolves packs pair up.
Bind. Set. Straight down here, you need to hold your elbows up. What do you mean? Come on, sir.
Head coach Nate Osborne at 2-0, and of course Richie Walker, who's a legend over at Seattle.
He is a legend. He's a legend in USA Rugby for that matter. He's been brought in late in the game, and what a fantastic acquisition for the Seawolves. Of course, has coached the US national sevens team, the women. Had a hand in the men's success as well. He just spreads his experience all over the nation. Fantastic coach, but Feeks now drops a little inside ball to Howden, up to the halfway line. Same way, trademark quick play by NOLA. Tiku Suba comes back now to Billy Stewart. And tackled back now in their own territory. Eloff shrugs off one, still going Eloff. Injecting himself from the fullback position, loves getting some work early on. Thompson, now they're in Seawolves territory. Feeks, over the top, beautiful pass. Striffler, he's brought down. Maintaining possession nicely now, NOLA. Still in Seawolves territory. The green seawall holding firm. See how quickly they get off the line to make the tackle. It's pushed NOLA back into their own territory. Feeks takes on the defense. They might be looking for a kick here soon. They can't make any advancement on this Seawolves defense. Rock solid early on.
That's good. That's good.
Youngett to Bidens.
No.
Eloff steps in. May see a kick from him. Howden steps up. Fires it out to Feeks. That's Striffler. Coming through. Harmon with a strong run. After several phases, still haven't made any advancement. So Howden puts boot to ball, finds some space.
There's that kick you were talking about, Mark.
And here's NOLA Gold is going to see what they can do from a line out over here. I mean, just a smothering defense by the Seawolves. Hit after hit. We could practically hear some of these hits up here in the booth. That's a come on up and smash them kind of defense. You're not catching anybody there. You're meeting them before they can gain any ground.
If you've been watching the NOLA Gold, it's a different kind of rugby than the Golden played. They scored 40 and 31 in their first 2 matches, where Seattle's won it more with defense.
Use the line, please.
Well, that's right. When I talk about the sea wall, it's affectionately known, especially by their home crowd. You see Howden there, they just played and played and played, were unable to get through, so that's where the kick is handy. And that's exactly what the Seawolves have come here to do. They know that NOLA can score a lot of points, and they're very quick in attack. Well taken by Blewett, and still keeps going. Great stuff from the young man. Finally brought down. The crowd love it. He's a crowd favorite here. And look at Younger just flirting with the sideline. And it will come back where he stepped out, but he spotted an opportunity.
A lot going on here, Mark. Check this out. Those big hits we were talking about, you can dish them out on offense, too. When you meet that ruck with a big, powerful blow, winning the ball for your team, that was a very gutsy play there by Younger. Didn't quite work out perfectly, but a very dangerous one. That a step or two, and that could have been a beautiful try.
And here's a line out. This is a good example for those who are new to rugby. This is like the jump ball. We said that in game 1 in basketball.
And that line-out is won by the Seawolves. White jerseys pouring through now. May have turned it over. Ball comes, no, back on Seawolves. Side, and Seema sends it long, straight down to Eloff. He'll look to run. Now he kicks, puts it high. Blewett comes through. Smothers Seema after taking it courageously. And it's a penalty. Well done, Tristan Blewett. And number 9, JP Smith.
Feisty start to this game, boys. Look at that. He just wipes him out.
That's why Tristan Bluett's become a fan favorite. He's done that in each of the first 2 matches.
We see these acrobatic plays out of this young man, the South African playing for his first season abroad outside of his home country here in New Orleans. And this, with that penalty, we set up NOLA Gold for a chance to even things out with their own score. Different pace to this game than we've seen in some of the others, as Scott, you mentioned. Instead of those high-scoring, quick, right out of the gates, this has been a lot of testing by 2 powerful teams to see who is going to determine the pace of this game, who's going to set the momentum. Thus far, they're still in that phase where they're testing each other, see where the breaks are going to come.
Well, they call him the wild man. I mean, listen, Tristan Blewett, he's the only guy on the pitch that scored tries in each of the first 2 matches, and here's the penalty kick.
Eloff to equalize. Near formality for him from this distance. In front of the posts, and he's done that. 3 points to 3. You're right about Tristan Blewett.
But Eloff is the team's leading scorer. This guy does it with the kicks, and he also does it, of course, with tries. But hey, catch our next telecast Saturday when Rugby United New York, that's Rooney, they come to town to take on the NOLA Gold. The kickoff is set at 2 p.m. Central live on Cox Sports Television. And for the full broadcast, visit coxsportstv.com.
Ben Seema restarts. Speaking of Seema, we must give him credit for that last play. Despite it ending in a penalty, took that ball courageously. Could have been a lot worse with the wild man bearing Downing and making him a tackle right in his 22. I thought that Seema might have called a mark, and if he did, he should have the ball, but he may have been outside his 22. And here's the penalty kick.
NOLA Gold got 15 points out of Eloff last week. Difference makers for sure. And the way this game is going, they're going to need every point that he can give them.
Kutsia gets it in, and they've lost it again. Knock on by Gold. So the Seawolves getting away with that one, a little wayward throw. We'll come back with a scrum feed to the Seawolves.
For that, it looked like NOLA Gold had it, but a little mishandling. Ref has to blow that up. And again, a contest for possession.
You mentioned the 12 points last week. I mean, 15 last week. He got 9 the week before. He is, when you go points per match, he's 4th in the entire MLR. He finished 5th last season.
The tries are the explosive plays in this game, but those penalty kicks can make all the difference, as we've seen.
Crouch.
JP Smith.
Bind. Set.
The youngster, 24 years of age, to feed the scrum. Shove on by the Seawolves.
Easy. This one down over
That
here.
scrum will be reset.
Hold on. You elbow up.
Of course, the ref is counseling his two scrums. He wants to see proper technique. He wants to see a safe scrum.
Here we go.
He's happy to watch them do it as many times as it takes.
Here we are, a repacked scrum now. JP Smith.
Bind. Set.
Seawolves now with the shove. That's a penalty. And they are ecstatic with that one. Youngett comes in. The entire back line comes in to congratulate the forwards. That's a huge effort.
Boy, Mark, when you're a back and your forwards can do that for you, it can set you up, can win you good ball right there, give you the opportunity to go back on the attack. That deserves a high five at the very least.
Well, I think it's more than that, Ian, as well. It just shows the camaraderie and the unity of this team. Well, the backs coming in to congratulate the forwards do the same to congratulate backline play. And it just shows the winning culture that's been developed here at NOLA.
One of the great things about rugby, you've got your stars, but nobody can do that much on their own. A good star player is the guy who passes that ball off behind him to his runners and support.
Now we have Harmon, collegiate All-American, national champ with Life 2018. Another clean line out, blew it, cut down by Seema. Little payback for him as Feeks fires it out to Elof and now finds Jojo to Kosuva. Coming back into safety, good play by Jojo. Here come the Gold through Stewart. They're on the charge now. Home crowd behind them. Dotti returning from international duties with Uruguay, gets an extra roll in, and illegally so. You can't do that. Holding on to the ball on that occasion.
That's frustrating for NOLA Gold because you could see the momentum building there. You really could, and unfortunately, ball carrier holding on to that just a little too long. Our ref, Derek Summers here, has demonstrated so far that he's doesn't have a lot of patience for holding onto the ball. We've seen a few penalties thus far on that. You can see him kind of counting in his head. 1, 2. Now he's got a good grip on that, and he blows it up, gives the ball over to Seattle.
Well, that was a slow roll on the floor, and the slow-mo made it look even slower.
Sure
Definite penalty there.
I'm sure it didn't feel that slow in the action with the elbows flying, but it sure did from here, and the ref properly called it.
So in the game of rugby, when you are tackled, you have a couple of seconds to play the ball. In other words, just release it. A number of ways you can do that. Beautiful pass to Suniula from Seema. Ball goes to ground. Little miscommunication between Turner and Suniula. Seema comes to clean up. Good play from the young man. As Hatting advances on the halfway now for the Seawolves. Tucker, strongly met, kick coming through from Smith, finds some space, Blewett comes back to Berrio. To bearing down on Blewett. Blewett wasn't happy about that last exchange, but he was carried in. So it will be a 5-meter scrum to the Seawolves. Dangerous territory now for NOLA.
Yeah, very much so. That looked like the last resort play for Tristan Blewett. He usually has an answer for almost anything that comes his way. In that case, that was basically all he could do with a defender bearing down on him that close to his own try zone. So now we can see what the Seattle scrum can do here. They're going to be packing down so close to the New Orleans try line. And you see this good play there to stop him. Tristan Blewett, he's been all over this pitch. He's been great in offense and defense.
Yeah, that's why they call him the wild man. Listen, he's hit you 3 hits there. He's not that big when you see him in person, but he hits like a big man.
So as a result of a clever kick in behind by the Seawolves, And then a wonderful chase by Tiberio. The Seawolves now find themselves 5 meters out from the try line of NOLA.
Let's use it now.
Ball comes out. Suniula behind the back pass. No. Hits the flat runner. That's Rusalika. Playing advantage, so he's going to give a penalty to the Seawolves. Let's see what this is for.
Chop tackle.
This is a real tough break for NOLA Gold because not only does this tackle end up in a penalty, it ends up in a yellow card. One of their key players. That was a chop tackle, of course. Dangerous play, the ref determines. And very, very rough there because that yellow card means they'll be playing a man down.
Much better on the last scrum.
And that's a huge blow as well. Foley will spend 10 minutes on the sideline for his sins.
What do we want, scrum? What do we want,
The
scrum?
referee just saying that was dangerous, probably because, yes, it was low, and it looked like there was no attempt to wrap as well, just flying in with the shoulder, American football style, Scott.
Well, you can't lead with the head in American football, but I guess the shoulder in rugby.
That was the guided missile of a tackle. Unfortunately, didn't wrap up. And
That's right.
earned the penalty.
And when you're missing an Olympian who played in the 2016 Olympics in Rio, and a man down, you know it's going to be a big loss for the next 10 minutes.
Now with Foley missing midfield, will Seattle penetrate that spot? 5 meters out. This is prime attacking position for the Seawolves.
Yeah.
You see, not on your screen, but as we pan out, you'll see Taylor Howden has stepped in to number 12 in defense. Elof's on the line as well. Feeks, big task at 10. You see him just in screen now. And of course, the backline set of the Seawolves. We'll start with Seema, Suniula, Rusalika. Matt Turner is also up. This will be hard to stop for NOLA. Can they do it? Ball comes to the back. Smith gets it to Seema. Suniula, the dummy switch. Turner can't handle it. It'll be a first knock by Turner.
Knock on.
So they got out of jail with that one.
Second big break for the NOLA Gold early in this match.
This is why when your team is defending its own try line, when your team is driving on the opponent's try line, you can't take anything for granted. You can't take your eyes off that ball for a second.
You're absolutely right, Ian. And that's probably what Matt Turner did. Uncharacteristic error, but that man on your screen forced the error. He came into the line of sight of Matt Turner, and I think he just had a little look. You'll see it here. Here's the big scrum. Look at the beast, Eric Deschel.
Oh, there's so much energy in that pack right there. These are two really good packs muscling it out. And, you know, sometimes, Mark, we call that try line fever. You know, that might have been a certain try if he had gone 90 miles an hour, but he went to 97 miles an hour. It's just a little too fast.
Well, it was not a bad pass at all from Suniula out to Matt Turner, but as I said, it might have just been the menacing sight of Jojo Tikoisuva coming in to make the tackle.
Just take water break. Just take water break. 20 minutes, so just take water break. Yeah.
Both teams are on a water break right now.
Water break now, yeah.
Well, they're not the only ones that are going to take a water break. We'll be right back. You're watching NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television. Cox Sports Television brings you some of the best men's and women's college basketball matchups this season. Well, here's a look at what you can catch this week, including Tulane, Memphis, Wichita State, and more. Log on to our website for the full schedule, coxsportstv.com. And look at all the fans here enjoying. The crowds are getting bigger and bigger, as you see. And you know what? Everyone loves a winner, right, Mark?
Well, I was just going to say that winners are grinners.
I'll tell you this New Orleans Stadium is fired up right now. We've heard a lot from these fans, a lot of stomping when the scrums are coming together, a lot of spirit, a lot of costumes. It's New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras right around the corner. This is a crowd that's not afraid to bust out some flair.
Well, Ian, the season has begun. Last night they had the parade. Just started with Chewbacca's, and obviously for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, it's going to be Mardi Gras full on here down in the Crescent City.
Now, the only procession that NOLA Gold has on their mind right now is the scrum, seeing if they can march back the Seawolves a bit.
Youngett feeds for the gold. Best efforts of the Seawolves to force a turnover comes undone as Feeks sends it high and long. And that's taken by Turner on the fly, but he can't handle it. And it will be a line-out throw to NOLA, thanks to Matt Turner fumbling that one over the sideline.
Well, they say fortune favors the bold. In this case, I think fortune is favoring the gold because they have gotten that ball out from some certain, looked like certain tries.
Two fumbles.
And now deep in, well, certainly well into the Seawolves territory here. But we've seen this, what the Seawolves defense can do. They're going to be called upon yet again right here.
Feeks now to Striffler, up over the halfway now for the gold. Same way. Howden finds Eloff. That's a high tackle.
Is that high, Luke? Luke, is that high?
And here Derek Summers just asking his assistant referee for confirmation on the height of that tackle. But it looks like play on at the moment. So play on, we will. As the gold now up into Seawolves territory. Same way again, Feeks. He's done a fantastic job of linking his forwards to his backs. And Striffler up to the 40-meter line. Thompson, quick hands. Now they're over the 40. Dottie. He's met heavily. Loses a couple of meters in the process. Youngett comes in. Same way again, Feeks. Just knocking the ball on, but look out, because here come the Seawolves. They'll play quickly. Turner puts the kick in.
It was a late shot after the kick.
Late tackle. Late tackle. So we had a knock on.
Just a penalty. I got it. I got it.
Few penalties stacking up there.
Kick from here.
Of course, ref's going to go
after
from
the kick. Yeah, penalty here.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. A dump tackle there after the man had got his ball off.
Hey, Ian, we have a lot of new members that are loving rugby in the New Orleans community. What does knock on mean for those just watching for the first time?
Think of it as an error, a mishandle. You're supposed to take that ball clean and run with it. If it bounces off your chest, if it bounces off your arms, if you can't just bring it in, that's a turnover that he'll blow up the game, and he'll give the ball over to the other side to contest for it.
And just adding to that, Ian, you're absolutely right. If the ball propels forward, you can fumble it backwards and it's okay. It's just if the ball travels toward the try line that you're trying to score a try in.
Of course.
And that's where hence knock on.
Thank you, guys.
Good read on that one, Mark.
That sounds perfect. Now I got it.
Remember, you can only take that ball forward by kicking it or by running it, right? If it bounces off of your pectorals, that's going to be considered an improper forward motion.
Hey, let me take this time to thank the Seattle franchise for getting down here. They had a lot of bad snow. It was iffy if this game was even going to be played, but I want to thank them for making the effort to get down here yesterday afternoon.
Well, so far they've been here for a good one. There's the fans. We would see a lot of green in the stands here. Probably glad to be away from the white snow of Seattle right now. Speaking of penalties, New Orleans has racked up quite a few. 6 penalties so far on NOLA. So you kind of have to wonder if they can clean this up. Remember, they're still playing a man down with their number 12 in the sin bin.
Con Foley.
So Stoller unable to add the penalty, the 3 points, and score remains tight here at Gold Stadium. 3 points to 3.
Don't miss every division and every class of LHSAA girls and boys basketball championships right here on CST. The girls tip off live coverage on Cox Sports Television March 1st and 2nd. And then the following week, the boys take the court with games on March 8th and 9th. Stay tuned to CoxSportsTV.com for times and to find out which teams will face off in the 2018 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Boys and Girls March Madness.
Thank you, Scott. And during that promo, we saw a big play by Seema, putting the ball deep down into NOLA Gold territory, just pinning this team in white in their own zone. It's definitely a tactic of the Seawolves. Make them work for their money. That's what they have to do with Striffler. He's been busy this game so far. 25 minutes gone already in this first half. Elof gets it away under pressure. And that'll help breathe a sigh of relief for this NOLA team.
Gets them out of the shadow of their own uprights.
Through the tunnel. Tell your boys that.
The Gold still not out of jail just yet.
No, they did.
As the Seawolves still in a good commanding position. Playing the territorial game quite well so far. As you see, Kutsia, plenty of Super Rugby experience for him. The Stormers, the Cheetahs, the Southern Kings, and they've won the line out. Seema on the wraparound, back inside. Was that a forward pass? Tiberio finds Turner. They're going to score. Matt Turner scores the first try of the match for last year's champions, the Seattle Seawolves.
That's the play that we've been waiting to see in this game, Mark. Something to really break it open. That was a beautiful try. Well done through the hands. You see it, all these runners in support here. You see the back line formed up beautifully. You see them being right there to catch those passes, to make the most of those opportunities and those breaks, to keep the defense on the back foot. NOLA can never get planted. They can never make a hit. And the Seawolves just slice right through them. That was a beautiful try.
Yeah, Matt Turner, who had butterfingers on a couple earlier plays. You see him get his first try of the match. By the way, Mark, how is this team, NOLA Gold, going to face adversity for the first time this season? They've had leads the entire way the first two matches, and they went down 3-0, but now they're down a full try.
Definitely unfamiliar territory for the Gold, trailing for the first time in this entire competition. Maybe that's just what they need to bring them down to earth, and they'll fight back. You can count on the Gold for that.
Got awfully quiet here in Gold Stadium as the Seawolves try to convert from a very narrow angle. Very challenging proposition here for their kicker.
Now let's not forget that the Gold are playing a man down. Con Foley, the man on the sideline. Possibly a reason why that Seattle Seawolves backline was able to slice through. And the kick is successful, so they extend their lead out to 10 points to 3 now. The defending champions over NOLA Gold.
Primetime Sports features the biggest sports and entertainment stars from Louisiana and the entire Gulf Coast region. Well, I bring you weekly in-depth interviews with players, coaches, local musicians and artists, and so much more. Catch new episodes Tuesdays at 7, right here on CST.
And we've got about 2 minutes left in the sin bin for NOLA's number 12.
Oh, now he's... Okay.
Scratch that. That time went fast.
All right, let's go.
I like that 2 minutes.
Up, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, Foley back on. That'll be huge.
Okay, that's fine.
Gets a little instruction from the ref to take it easy. I don't think easy is what we're going to see out of either of these teams, but hopefully within the letter of the law for this ref.
Elof restarts. Seawolves gather that kick from halfway, and now Seema Sunil leaves without it. Goes backwards, says the referee. That's what we were just talking about before. It was not a knock on, it was a knock back. That's play on. Box kick now. Up. Elof's under it, takes it well and continues. Looks to beat another, but he can't get past Turner. Coming inside now, Elof looks hurt. That could be a huge blow for NOLA if he is. Still down in back way, clutching at his right leg.
Good play. We can play through.
You see Elof takes that kick beautifully, still is running with it, but then, oh, a really bad way to go down. See that knee. Hopefully that's just something he can work out, a little stretching. They're giving some attention now. He's nodding.
Don't jump over, guys.
He's a very strong, agile player right there. Anything that happens to him would be bad news indeed for the Gold. But he's back up. Looks like he's probably going to walk that one off.
He is the captain of this team this week and last, and he's also the leading returning scorer for this team and the leading scorer this year. He's been one of the keys from South Africa for this NOLA Gold team.
Yes, it's so great to see him back in action after health complications last season. Really showing what a great player he is and how instrumental he is to this team. Married as well in the summer.
Yes, he is.
So he is back, a married man.
Come on.
Probably why he's playing some of his best rugby.
Yeah, he missed 4 matches, and he still was 5th in the entire league in scoring last season, and he's instrumental. We have to have him in the game to succeed.
Looking a little gimpy there as he's still maybe kind of coming to terms with what just happened to him in that hit. I'd be surprised if he stays in the way that he's looking right now.
Here's your line.
He does not look like he's at 100%, guys. But meanwhile, the Gold is very, very deep here with their ball at the line out, knocking on the door of the Seawolves, and this crowd is back into it again.
Stomping their feet on this metal grandstand of the home crowd as that line out is taken successfully and the drive ensues. They've scored a try like this against the Glendale Raptors. Can they do it again?
Advantage.
Comes down, collapsing them all, so it will be a penalty. Let's see what they can do with this advantage right now. Need to get rid of it. Youngett wants it. He wants to have a crack.
Yeah, you already got advantage.
Backline set. Feeks is in the pocket. Pick and drive. Still playing advantage, the referee. If they can't do anything with it right now, it'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, I'll move, I'll move.
Need to be careful. They may lose their advantage after an amount of time. Ball comes out now. Little kick from Feeks. It's deflected from Seema. Blewett comes after it. He cleans it up. Still playing advantage, says the referee.
Still, no.
So it may go back to the penalty as Youngett now brings it in field. That's Thompson.
Come back.
That's a long advantage, but it'll come back for the referee, for the penalty from the referee.
At long last. The referee was very patient, letting that play out. Wanted to see what this team could do with the ball. Of course, the referee, as you mentioned earlier, the most important man on the pitch, he gets to call pace of the game. He decides when he's going to blow that whistle. In that case, he was letting him play on, see what they could do with it, but it comes right back to where it started and gives NOLA Gold another chance. Looks like they're setting up to take a shot at it.
I thought for a second there, Ian, that Feeks might have been getting in the pocket for a field goal attempt or a drop goal attempt. That would have been 3 points, and if he misses that drop goal, they get the penalty anyway because of the advantage. Just another way that sometimes teams use that advantage to build the score. But they went for the try, they didn't succeed, and luckily they still have the advantage.
They like where they are on the field right now, and they want to see what they can do with that ball in hand.
5 meters out, the ball will come down, and they will try and drive it over. Looks like they might be over the line. It's short. Desperation defense from the Seawolves.
Don't pull him.
1 meter out, the Gold. Can they equalize by scoring and then converting their try?
Like he's close.
So close, inches away from the yellow try line. Youngett.
Ball is there.
Yelling, calling, directing. They're picking and driving. They're going to try and drive their way over.
Get your hands
And
back.
that's a tough ask against the green and blue Seawall. Still, inches away.
Advantage offside.
Advantage now, so they've managed to win another penalty. They can do something with it here. The ball's right there, and it's a try. It's a try to the goal. The crowd goes wild. What a forward effort there from the Gold.
The last try we saw from the Seawolves was a thing of beauty with the maneuverability and speed. That was good old-fashioned rugby to answer by the Gold. That was just barreling it through. That was calling on their big men to do what big men do, and that is get low and don't take no for an answer. They are just pushing that phase after phase after phase. Everyone in the NOLA Gold stands was waiting with bated breath to see if they could get that down. There are so many ways that could have gone wrong with so many phases with your opponent so close and so determined to stop you. But in the end, NOLA Gold pulls it off with a beautifully brutal forwards try.
Was that the big Canadian Hubert Bidens? Who scored on that one right down low?
It was hard to tell who was just big men bashing, but it looked like Biden's got it down.
Yeah, it was the guy from Uruguay, obviously, next to O'Donnell. They call him Nacho in his first match. In with the NOLA Gold, he gets a try in the 31st minute.
The big Uruguayan, just reward for him.
He was playing just last week for his national team. Back here with NOLA with his pro team, earning his keep with that try.
So Elof, after a knock earlier on, back on his feet. Can he add the extras? It's a beautiful strike, and it looks like he has. So the Gold are back. 10 points to 10 here at Gold Stadium.
Check this out. We were worried about JP Elof with that injury that he picked up there on that hit, but it looks like he's back in form.
Well, as most of you know, college baseball is right around the corner. Starting this Friday, CST brings you some of the best matchups in town, starting with the Raging Cajuns of UL on Friday. Southland baseball with SLU, the Southeastern Lions, on Sunday the 24th, and then Tulane at Nichols on the 26th. By the way, I have both of those coaches on Tuesday on Primetime Sports. Log in to coxsportstv.com for the full broadcast schedule.
NOLA Gold now bringing it out of their 22. Foley fresh on the field after 10 minutes in the sin bin for a dangerous tackle. And no sooner after he comes on the field, the goal scored to equalize. We knew it would be a tightly contested affair here today between the top of the table, NOLA Gold, and last year's champions, the defending champions, the Seawolves. And that kick has gone long, but it was kicked outside the 22, a costly error. The line-out will come all the way back.
Yeah, this gives the ball right back to the Seawolves where they want it, right on the 22. Again, in striking position.
Up here. 6 plus. 6.
Just some costly little errors creeping in today, Ian. You see, a feature of NOLA's play in the last 2 games has just been their accuracy and discipline. They are handing the Seawolves an opportunity. Ball comes down.
Yeah, was that a knock or no?
Crowd are yelling knock on.
Okay.
Assistant referee says no. So the Seawolves now. Can they hit back? Suniula. Strongly met by Feeks. He's been outstanding in defense today, Nick Feeks. Looking for the offload, gets it away to Seamer in support. Seawolves advancing, edging toward that try line. And the offload, Suniula wasn't ready, but he cleans up, takes it forward. Feeks again, puts him down. Out now to Seamer, looks for the kick, shapes Turner. Turner beats one, still going. Seawolves looking ominous. Seamer goes without it, and now it's a turnover. So the Gold come up with it. Elof, nobody home, sends it back into open space. Tiberio comes across. Chases a little lax. That allows Tiberio to bring it all the way back into Gold territory. Fatigue setting into both teams. You can see it now. They've been at it. 2 quality teams expending a lot of energy out there, Ian.
And Mark, we've seen this a few times now from the Seawolves. This ball getting a little sloppy, hitting the deck. They've gotten away with it a number of times. They've gotten good second chance ball, was what I call that, when that ball goes loose, but your own guy gets it. But in that case, NOLA Gold was there to swoop in and scoop it up. That was the 4th knock-on for Seattle.
You can see just a little mistiming, miscommunication between Hatting and his scrum half. Just a bit too flat, overran the pass. Smith threw it anyway. You can see it just went behind. NOLA Gold was there to swoop it up. Looked like Harmon.
Both sides down.
We've had quite a few reset scrums as well, Ian.
Yeah, and then one of the main set pieces of this sport, and I can tell you at the youth level, the club level, the professional level, international level, it's always a fraught situation. This ref is taking his time, making sure that it meets his specifications. So far, NOLA has won all of its set pieces, though, Mark. They've been very good with that. They've actually taken a few lineouts away from Seattle, too. So they're showing some prowess and also some opportunistic tactics there. Looks like the ref wants people to cool down for just a moment before he gets this scrum going. Meanwhile, the clock continues to run. Down here to short time in this first half, 10-10 score.
And of course, there's 40-minute halves with possibly a little time afterward.
That's right. The ref's not going to blow it up right when it hits 40. He probably has a little time in his pocket from some of those injuries and issues on the field.
So the Gold through Youngit. Tikoi Suva takes it on. Big tackle by Seema. Quick ball now. Feeks to Houghton. To Elof. Steps. Beats Rusalika. Can't get away from Suniula. Struggles his way up to the halfway. That's quick line defense by the Seawolves. And Feeks gets it away to Bentar, the vice captain. 11 caps for the Eagles, as that is straight to Matt Turner. Shapes to kick, sends it high this time. He'll give chase. Youngit knocks it on. However,
All of you.
penalty against the Seawolves for not retreating behind the kicker. So an interesting offside penalty there, one that could prove costly right on halftime.
Tough one there, Mark, because it looked like the Seawolves were doing everything right, but of course a little bit out of position. Very attentive ref, and he's going to blow that up.
Yeah, I got you. Last play.
One thing I also noticed is number 14, Staller, was in front of the kicker as well, but I think he was particularly interested in when that kick went back to Turner and he was shaping up to kick. His forward runners, his forward players, were not making enough of an effort to get back in support, to get back, and that's what he pinged those Seawolves players for.
So much depends on the ref's interpretation, right, Mark? I mean, it's that mental clock in his head. It's what he sees. It's what he thinks is your correct amount of hustle in the situation.
Exactly. So in other words, referee Derek Summers penalised Seawolves for being too lazy. But it's NOLA Gold now on the charge, driving forward. Last play of this first half. They have a chance to get the lead back.
The crowd is into it, Mark. They want it. They want to see something happen. And NOLA Gold has not stopped yet. Look at this drive.
Driving forward, but it's a penalty try to the Gold on the half. And the crowd have gone wild. Well, what a turn of events. I said that penalty could prove costly, and it has for the Seawolves. They can't believe it.
You were very prescient, my friend. And Seattle is not taking this one lightly either. They're not pleased with that call. They will have to live with it, though. And that's how the half will end.
And by the way, there's no conversion because it's a penalty try, so they get 7.
They give them the max. Mark, walk us through what happened here. Tell folks why that happened. Well, let's take a look at it. Looks like it's going to be a slow march by NOLA Gold. And if I'm guessing correctly, the Seawolves collapsed that maul right on the verge. Yes, I think we've got a maul taking shape here. They're driving, they're driving, they're driving. Seattle's doing everything they can to get in front of it.
Yes, Ian, you asked me what happened here. I think you might be right with collapsing. They're still driving. They just bring it down. I mean, they were going over the try line. So it's a penalty try for collapsing that maul.
Certain try results in that call.
Hey, we'll be right back for the second half and halftime highlights right here.
Great stuff.
Hey, welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. And for the third straight match, the NOLA Gold have a halftime lead. This was a little more precarious. It's 17-10. NOLA Gold, they got that penalty try right before the end of the half. The penalty try gives them 7 points without even having to do a conversion. Mark, what a great first half. It looked a little more rugged than it's been for the Gold in previous matches, but how did they do it this time?
Well, yeah, very exciting game. These two teams are so hard to pick, and it seems they're capitalizing on each other's errors. They shot themselves in the foot, the Gold, with 10 minutes in the bin to Confoley, and shortly after you saw Seattle taking advantage and scoring a try through the backs. But then, as you mentioned, they were able to fight back, and it seemed like the Seawolves went to sleep because they scored a penalty try right on the halftime break to put them in the lead.
Well, we did see why the Seawolves obviously are the defending champions of MLR. They're a rugged bunch, and they had to come through some rough weather to get here, so we thank them for that. Hey, remember week 1? We kind of gave the newer viewers a little Rugby 101 to teach them a little bit about the game of rugby. We're trying to attract new fans. So here, let's do it again. Ian, I'm going to lead to you, and here we are. Rugby 101 brought to you by BECU.
This game is going to come down to basics like they all do. We're talking about a ruck here. You're going to be seeing this constantly in the second half. Every time that ball hits the deck, the players are contesting for it. It's on the Gold, in this case, the ball carrier, to bring that ball down, to place it for his mates behind him, and it's on the offense to defend that ball, to actually blast the defenders off. It's up to the Seawolves to try to steal it, to get in there and try to nab it.
Hey, we're continuing to learn each and every week. And by the way, once again, like I said earlier, the NOLA Gold have the lead going into the second half. Hey, we're going to have more stuff to talk about when we come back right here on NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. Welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. Hey, the NOLA Gold have a 17-10 lead over the defending champions, the Seattle Seawolves. Right now, hey, listen, it was an exciting first half. Maybe not quite as much action as the first two matches when the NOLA Gold got a lot of open tries. But in this one, they had to struggle for a try. They got one inside with Ignacio Dottie to tie it up, and then they took the lead late, Mark. So let's talk about the first half.
Yeah, well, more kicking in the first half, but Ian, take us through these highlights. There was plenty of action.
Mark, I love this game. I love the way that this game has unfolded because it's been so equally distributed between the forwards and the backs. We've seen every kind of play that we could expect from a first half here. The crushing defense of both teams really limiting some of the runs, but then when they get an opportunity, watch the Seawolves go here. That's a beautiful Bromsby play right there, that looping, the setting your man up, and then NOLA Gold answers the old-fashioned way. Put the ball in the forwards' hands and let them do their thing. Just charge, just bull running at that thing until the levee breaks and they get their score. Now here's the last play of the game, really consequential. Remember, this came off of a penalty against the Seawolves. NOLA Gold mauling it. The Seawolves bring it down, they collapse that maul, and the ref just gives them a penalty try.
Hey, Mark, for those who do, to explain what a penalty try is. Obviously, in football, the American football, you have to get over the goal line to score a touchdown. How do you get one on penalty here in rugby?
There's a number of ways you can be awarded a penalty try. If the referee thinks that the opposition or the defense purposely stopped the try from being scored through an effort of foul play, he'll give the try anyway. He needs to deem that if you hadn't have done that infraction or given away that penalty, they would have scored the try, and I'm going to give it anyway.
Hey, we'll take it here in New Orleans. I know Seattle is not very happy with it, but expect a big, action-packed second half right here on CST. You're watching NOLA Gold Rugby. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby on CST. And let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. This is the third straight home match for the NOLA Gold. They're hoping to go 3-0 in this one, but next week, one of the new teams. They play Toronto in the opening game. The other one, well, they call it Rooney. Rugby United of New York. Well, they're coming in for the game next Saturday at 2 p.m., and that's going to be a big one because the Gold will be back at full strength. Eric Howard and Kyle Bailey back from Canada. Cam Dolan will be back playing for the U.S. team, and they hope to get Tony Lamborn, one of the best players in the world, to play in his first game. He had an ankle issue, and Scotty Gale, the normal number 10, the quarterback of the team, had a concussion. Hopefully he'll be back. There you see John Sullivan, and we're about to start the second half. What do the Gold need to do against a rugged team like this, Mark, to keep this lead?
They need to remain disciplined, Scott. You see that the Seawolves are doing a great job of capitalizing on mistakes, especially penalties and yellow cards that the Gold are suffering. So if they can just keep a clean slate, they've done a fantastic job in the first 2 rounds of remaining disciplined and accurate, and that's why they've been able to come away with wins. So they need to do that. I just want to mention one more thing. You mentioned Scott Gale with concussion. Nick Feeks has done a fantastic job today, stepping into big shoes. He's been a great link man between the forwards and the backs, accurate passing, and he could prove the difference today if he keeps that going. So the second half underway, folks, here at Gold Stadium. The home team with a narrow lead, 17 points to 10. A converted try.
Backwards.
Youngett juggles, regathers, went backwards, so play on. Feeks comes in as acting scrum half, sending his big runners midfield, charging toward the try line. Bentar getting busy early, as is Kane Thompson, hungry to get his hands on the ball. Youngett takes on the defense, high tackle, immediately called, penalty, and this is kickable for JP Eloff. Could be the first points of the second half.
If I'm New Orleans, I want these points. With this position, and yeah, they are going to take them. Try at least. You see that high tackle there. You can see the response on Youngert's face there. That one was going to get called every time the ref sees it.
Well, let's take the kick to get double-digit lead. They've had a double-digit lead in each of the first 2 matches. They've trailed literally the entire match until that penalty try right there to put them up 17-10 right at the end of the half.
Absolutely right, Scott. We mentioned before, this is uncharted territory leading up to that try right on the halftime break. NOLA not used to trailing in a match, but that hasn't seemed to worry them too much. Definitely a confidence booster going in as leaders at halftime. Now it's familiar territory as Eloff looks to give an extra buffer, and he does so. Dissects the posts. Extra 3 points, 20 points to 10 to the Gold.
That was a beautifully done kick from a, not necessarily a gimme with that distance either. But this is the part of the season that's so exciting, Mark. We're on our 3rd game here. NOLA Gold undefeated. It's only been 2 games. They have set a pattern, but it's in this league, all across this league, these teams are trying to establish who they are, to show the other teams who they are, to earn a reputation. So far, NOLA Gold is well on its way.
Ben Seamer sends it long. And now Billy Stewart getting an early touch in this second half. Youngett back to the pocket. Eloff has to run it out. He dummies. He goes. Still going. Little fend. Little kick over the top. Blewett gives chase. He might win the race here. Tristan Blewett. Oh, he goes to ground. Was he interfered with? Exciting stuff here. 5-meter scrum to the Gold, and this is their best opportunity to score a try.
What a wild chase that was. Of course, it was the wild man there to try to seal it. But JP Eloff, look at the moves. This guy was on the deck with what looked like an injury just a few minutes ago. No sign of that there. His speed, his agility, he gets that ball, he jukes all those defenders, he kicks it downfield for his man, Tristan Blewett, who almost was able to scoop it up and make that a try. Instead, we have a scrum to NOLA Gold, knocking on the Seawolves' door. It's going to take a huge defensive effort for the Seawolves to blunt them here.
Well, this is interesting now. We have a scrum. We have Tristan Blewett on his own with a huge blind side. The entire back line spread out into the open side. Which way will they go? You'd have to fancy Blewett, but it's been turned, and now here goes the back line. Taylor Howden catches it around his knees, steps, jinks, back in toward his support. The Gold pressing, nearly 5 metres out from the Seawolves try line. Forward runners. It proved beneficial in that first half with the pick and drive to score the try. Looks like they're going to do the same again. Bentar, the vice captain, so close. White jerseys coming in, they're over the line. Are they held up? Referee's right there.
Hold up.
And that's exactly what he deems held up. It'll come back for another 5 metre scrum to NOLA Gold.
Stout defense there by the Seawolves. Again, the player can cross the line with that ball, but if they can hold him up, their last-ditch defense, they can protect that try. They can block that try. That's exactly what we saw there. However, they're barely out of harm's way now because NOLA Gold will have the ball again from a scrum, and we've seen them be extremely good in the scrums thus far.
So exactly what the ruling is, Ian. They did not ground the ball to score the try. This is where the rules of rugby dictate. They are still rewarded with another feed of the scrum because they got themselves over the try line. So it comes back now, and they have a second attempt.
Our side.
Crowd is into it. A lot of stomping and shouting here in the metal stands of Gold Stadium.
I'm going to stand over here for now.
Absolutely right. This near side grandstand nearly completely full, as is the VIP section. Sky Alexander will be straight into the VIP section at full time, no doubt.
Post-game toddies, of course. Hopefully after another NOLA Gold victory.
He can't get a bind here.
Yes, they really do a great job here of accommodating the spectators,
I never said anything. So.
making things comfortable, enjoyable, creating a wonderful atmosphere here at Gold Stadium.
Bit tenser in that scrum, I have to imagine, Mark. They're on their third attempt here to get this thing moving. Stakes very, very high for the Seawolves to defend this. NOLA Gold smelling that try just in front of them.
Holden Youngett with the 1970s chops. Gets it to the back. Thompson dummies, goes himself. Met strongly in a two-man tackle, gets driven backwards. So still 5 metres out are the Gold.
Get out 5.
Picking and driving. Slow ball. Goes behind Thompson to Howden. Steps. Russellika meets him. May have been turned. Still going Howden. He's a metre from the line. NOLA Gold looking for their third try. Thompson at the back. Has a go himself. The crowd are going wild here, willing on their team. So close to the line. Dotty nearly dots down. He did in the first half. Youngett has a crack. 2 attempts from Youngett. Unsuccessful.
Here, yeah.
Blewett now. Oh, so close again. The Gold. Can they do it?
Back up.
Blewett decides against it, protects the ball. That might be Striffler at the back. Hard to tell. A pile of white jerseys. Still, no try for the Gold. They're coming up short. Wonderful defense by the Seattle Seawolves.
Hold.
Howden at first receiver. Dummies, goes himself. He's over. Howden's done it. The experience of the New Zealander.
Persistence, discipline, muscle, and finally skill. That's what went into that try. A long time coming for NOLA Gold, but it hit pay dirt. It looked for a while there like the Seawolves, with that defense, anything could happen. They have so many opportunities to blunt them, to hostily take it away, to pray for a penalty that'll cause them to get possession of the ball. Instead, NOLA keeps the focus. Phase after phase. I'm really impressed by the way that one came together, Mark.
Well, you see why they call Seattle Seawolves the sea wall. Their defense is extraordinary. But the captain from 2018 gets his third try in the last 2 weeks. He is the defending because he was last week the MLR Player of the Week.
Looked for a while there like maybe the Seawolves had an extra player out of the upright post. I mean, it was a game of millimeters right there. Of course, the conversion is good, buffering the NOLA Gold lead, 27-10.
Hey, tune in to CST next month for these college softball matchups on March 5th. The LSU Tigers hit the road to take on the NSU, the Northwest Demons, at 3:30. Hey, how about this? Baylor takes on the Raging Cajuns March 11th at 6 p.m. And then the Cajuns host the Cowgirls on March 20th, also at 6 p.m. All games are live. For the full broadcast schedule, visit coxsportstv.com. That's 24 unanswered points by the NOLA Gold after being down 10-3 with literally only 8 minutes left in the half, Ian. And now, early in the second half, they're up by 14.
Big turnaround there. You can see the explosiveness of some of these players.
Eloff dummies again, and he takes off. He's done it a couple of times, igniting this NOLA Gold attack, and he's still going, Eloff. What sore leg? Through the hands now, Feeks comes over the top, beautiful pass to Suva. Cover defense coming across. That was Stoller putting him down. The Gold playing with plenty of confidence now. Back down the short side, Younger to Striffler. Gets it away, but goes to ground. Suva cleans up. And Duchel, the beast, drives him back. So now they slow things down. Little dummy from Billy Stewart. Plenty of touches for him today. Striffler again. Met by a strong tackle from Rusalika coming in, and he's turned it over. That's a big tackle by Rusalika.
Credit that stout Seawolves defense. We keep on saying it, but we keep on demonstrating it. NOLA Gold was rampaging there. Seawolves had just enough to come up, get in good position to make those stops, keep track of that very fast-moving ball and corral some of those explosive Gold players. Some disagreement in the stands about what that call should have been. You expect that from the home crowd. Seawolves fans on their feet, excited now. Need to do their part to cheer on their boys.
A lot of folks travel from the Pacific Northwest to come down. They have some great fans in Seattle. We've seen it with obviously the Seahawks and the Mariners and of course the Sounders, but they get some of the best crowds, in fact the best crowds in the MLR for their Seawolves.
Kutsia throws in. So Seawolves bring it down, and that's Duchel, the beast. At the advantage line, Seema. Back pass to Suniula, gets it out quickly to Turner. And that was forward, only very slightly forward. Let's just have a look at this replay and watch Taylor Howden going forward. But we talked about penalty tries earlier on, Sky Alexander. And I just saw something out of the corner of my eye when Taylor Howden scores. He's in first receiver. And you'll see it come out his way. He's calling for the ball. And here comes Youngert, having a crack. A big build-up. Unable to get the try early on. Eventually it'll get to Howden. Well,
that was a long.
I couldn't make my point. That was not the point I was trying to make.
We'll come
that
back
they
to
couldn't score from.
That was many phases there.
Many phases. Yeah, it was good to see how many phases they put it together, leading up to Tyler Howden's try as Foley charges forward. Sit down, he says, just rhino-like running. And the kick early on down to Tiberio. Sends it back. JP Eloff, he'll step, beats the first defender. There's Tiberio chasing his own kick. Eloff's done a magnificent job in counter-attack in this game. Mixing it up between running and kicking. Ball spits out, and that's going to be a penalty for kicking the ball in the ruck. Feek sends it high, down to Turner. Takes it Aussie rule style, but it comes back. He was playing advantage.
How clutch has JP Eloff been? Whatever he took a little sip of in that locker room, a little Gatorade or something, it's turned straight into diesel fuel. And he has made some amazing breaks and really forced the Seawolves to be disciplined in tracking him.
Ian, this is the same guy we thought was going to maybe have to come out of the game very early in the game. He was limping, wincing, and it looked like it might be a bit precarious, but he has come back with a vengeance.
Fantastic. He's been looking throughout the second half as if he is one small play, one little break away from just clearing out and being off to the races. But of course, that's going to challenge the Seawolves. You have to pay attention to these explosive players. They've been so good on D, and when they've had the opportunity to put things together on offense, they've had some good success. But right now, as we've seen, they've had a drought of points for quite some time with the clock now ticking.
And by the way, when you talk about total points, he is now in first place in the MLR. This year, he's got, I think, 11 this game, and now, yeah, he's got 35 for the season at this point.
And NOLA having their line out pinched on that occasion. Haven't seen much of that in this game. The Seawolves just keeping themselves in the game with a great defensive effort at line out time.
I can't see it from over there, so it's not high enough.
Of course, can they back that up, get themselves out of this zone? They've been camped down here for much of this second half, the Seawolves.
Line.
And it's Phil Mack on the field. Former captain of the Seawolves. Oh, that's a high tackle by Feeks. And it may come back for a little discussion with the young Australian.
That is disappointing to see. That's clearly a very dangerous play.
Time's off. We got a mark here.
Oh, it was actually Foley with his left arm out. Now, this could be dangerous. He's already got a yellow card. Another yellow card in the game of rugby is an automatic red. No, it was Feeks. Who was it there? Feeks or Foley?
It looked like Feeks to me. Maybe I'm protecting Foley. It looked like our number 10.
Go 10, please.
Gold, they're trying to state their case, ameliorate things a little bit, but that was a clear foul.
Well, Feeks is coming in. Obviously, he's Collegiate Player of the Year. His first start because Scotty Gale from Australia, the fellow Aussie, he had a concussion last week, so he's going through protocol. So Feeks is getting his shot today and doing so well.
Well, the ref is content to let it go with a penalty without a card. So NOLA Gold still playing with their full contingent. Another judgment call there.
Some bottles of television. Yep. We'll take.
Well, one thing's for sure after seeing that is Nick Feeks does not shy away from contact. Loves putting the shoulder in. That slipped up a little high, but not high enough for a yellow card, as you mentioned.
The GM, Ryan Fitzgerald, told me, he said this is going to be his Mahomes moment. Obviously, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes, he's coming in as our quarterback, and he's making a big day for himself. Pat Mahomes, that is.
Deschel the Beast, this is what he's so good at. This is why he's called the Beast. Fighting his way all the way up inside the 22 of the Gold. And here come the Seawolves. Phil Mack with his experience will rally the troops. Charging forward now. The green and blue, Seema taking on the line. Nearly gets through.
Nice tackle. That was Sullivan on the tackle.
And Suliula, dummies. Up over now, 2 meters from the try line. Desperation defense by the Gold. Going forward, it's a penalty, not a try. And who's he got this time?
None of you on your feet interfering with the play.
Well, there you go. 3 players, not just one, not rolling away and interfering with the play.
Substitution.
It takes a village to make a penalty
11,
like that, Mark.
11 and 14.
Ref was dishing them around pretty wide. Looks like we have an injured Gold player. He's getting some attention right there.
Shalom.
But boy, Seattle needed that big run by their big beast runner. Really ignited the offense, and you saw that swarming back line coming in to try to take full advantage of that. We'll see where we end up here. The ref does this thing.
Here, off the ball. Make sure we're playing rugby here and none of that. Yep. Just relax. Yeah. Control your teams. We've had good discipline, yeah? Here we go.
Well, if you didn't,
on the subs.
You didn't hear that. Referee
Gold 3, Gold
Derek
3.
Summers just having a chat to the captain and the players saying things are getting a little testy So that's what happens in the game of rugby, where there's frustration, there's aggression, it's a contact sport, and he just wants everyone to calm down, take a chill pill, and play rugby.
Testy, yeah, you think? every touch of that ball is crucial right now. Some subs coming in. Just saw 17, Cam Falcon for the gold. Sliding in there to replace Ben Tarr at prop. Cam Falcon, who grew up right here, playing on this pitch.
Shaw Eagle, LSU Tiger, and the owner's son, Tim Falcon, the owner of the NOLA Gold, his son Cam, a rugby playing family.
Okay, we got 4 new props in here. Let's keep the gap. We've had a good gap for the game. No reason it should change. Let's go.
4 new props, some fresh legs in both front rows. But you'll see Phil Mack once again, 33 years of age, 43 caps for Canada. And at one stage, a superstar sevens player. He's named in the World Sevens Series All-Star Team 2014. That was only 4 or 5 years ago. Phil Mack is dangerous. NOLA need to keep an eye on him. Solid scrum by both.
Okay, let's use it.
It's at the back. Hatting, well met by Striffler. Same way for the Seawolves. Quick ball. Mack comes in and swoops. Van Haan. Those fresh legs we mentioned, and that's a big tackle, but he's rolled in, and what a pass, and what a try. The Seawolves hit back.
The Seawolves are saying that's more like it. That's the rugby we came here to play, and it pays off for them. You saw that combination of the forwards and the backs working together, the movement of the ball, not being content to be stopped, just keeping it moving, and finally making that big break, rolling in for the try.
Yeah, let's take water break. Water break.
That was Api Nakatini, the big man. They're not going to stop him from that close. 32 years of age. From Sigatoka, Fiji. What a beard as well. Strong beard game.
He's got a beard like a billy goat, like my man James Harden down in Houston.
The Seattle fans doing great. Looks like some of them went to visit the bead merchants of Bourbon Street last night, perhaps a little pre-gaming. Great to see them there. I always love a team that travels well.
Yeah, they're going to take the second half water break, and so will we. We'll be right back on Cox Sports Television. This copyrighted telecast of NOLA Gold Rugby may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Cox Sports Television, NOLA Gold, and Major League Rugby.
All right, we've got 20 minutes on the clock. NOLA Gold has a 10-point lead now after that try. We definitely have a game on our hands here, folks, in New Orleans.
Hatting for the Seattle Seawolves. Just under 20 minutes to play in this thriller in New Orleans. If you're just joining us, welcome. Perfect timing from you. I'm Mark Stabina, joined by Scott Alexander and Ian McNulty in the commentary booth. And what a pleasure it is to call this one. JP Eloff, little error there. Little error, uncharacteristic.
And frustrating, as you can see, because that one sets up the Seawolves really nice, going from what could have been another one of those Eloff attacks that we've been praising to Seawolves ball. This has been a brawl on the bayou, gents, and I don't see the pace declining until the final whistle.
Seawolves, Duchel, heavily involved in the second half. And they need him to be. trailing by 10. Turner injects some pace, as he does so well. Mack just directing things at the back of the ruck, linking with his forwards. That's advantage. It'll be a penalty, and Phil Mack decides to go quickly. No, not on the mark. So Derek Summers will bring it back. Not so fast, Phillip.
Off your feet, 6.
And Scott, Chief Organising Officer, Operating Officer, COO, let's call it, of this goal. How much, if they win this third game, does this mean to the club of NOLA?
Oh my goodness, going into a game against New York, Rooney next week, having to be 3-0 after having a 3-5 record last season alone. This is a 16-game season, but it would mean so much to this franchise and this team, because you go one more home game and then you have a long road stretch and then very few home games. So to come out of this 3-0 with a chance to be 4-0 is something none of us really honestly believe, but here we are. We have a chance to attain it.
Well, they're going to have to get past the Seawolves first, and they are barking at the door.
Line out win to the Seawolves. Look like they're going to go quickly.
Free kick for closing.
Referee calling the mark. We'll play it down. Back play for the Seawolves. Never like seeing that. Might just be taking a little breather.
Let's hope so, Mark. We'll see what happened there to set this one up. Looks like NOLA Gold player coming into the gap a little too soon.
Time's off.
Yeah, that's Brad Tucker on his back there. Heavy fall, not supported, coming down from getting up so high.
This will be the ref's time. Clock has stopped. A little injury time going on. And he's back up on his feet. That's good to see. It's a big, strong rugby player right there. I've been really impressed, Mark, with the mix of talent that we've seen in this very new league. Don't forget, season number 2 for Major League Rugby, and you've got this homegrown talent, these imports from overseas, some really experienced players, some new players making their mark. I love seeing this.
Coach.
As do I, Ian McNulty, and so does his crowd.
Set.
Both Gold and Seawolves supporters in this stand. And it's off the back, close to the try line. Here come the Seawolves. The try scorer denied this time. That was Nakatini. Phil Mack forced to clean up. Pick and drive for the Seawolves. Ball spits out the back. That's going to be a penalty. Cole Van Haan takes it forward. Referee playing advantage. Now, Stoller throws it down to Suniula. Desperation defense from the Gold. Dummying Phil Mack. Slammed to the ground by Kane Thompson. The try scorer, Nakatini, unable to make inroads on this Gold defense. Stoller looking for some work, taking pressure off his forwards. Tucker met heavily again. Picking and driving, close quarters. It's over the try line, just as easy as that. The Seawolves hit back, and they are within 3 points.
Wild, wild, wild. Just a few minutes ago, this looked like NOLA Gold's game to walk away with a 17-point lead, but how quickly things have changed. Seawolves just added 12 points to the board and are gearing up to most likely make it 14 points with a pretty easy conversion ahead of them here, thanks to putting that ball right under the uprights.
The man on your screen, Kellen Gordon, did a fantastic job of handling that offload. And all he needed to do is just dive over. I said they were within 3 points. I was assuming that this kick right in front would be successful, but you never know. So as it stands, trailing by 5 with the conversion to come, and it is successful. So now a 3-point game, ladies and gentlemen. 27 points to 24 in favor of the home team, the NOLA Gold.
And this is the third straight match that the opponent has gotten close. In the first match, they got within 5 late in the second half. Last week it was within 4. This week it's 3. Let's see if the Gold can do what they've done the last 2 matches and continue to move forward and be aggressive on offense.
We've seen it all game. These teams are very evenly matched. Strong defense, explosive players, big boys up front that can really do some damage with that ball. Some skill guys at the edge. Can't let them break loose. NOLA Gold has definitely gotten some opportunities here that helped them build up that lead. The Seawolves said, no sir, we're not going to bed. We came here to win.
Seawolves bringing it out of their territory. Now they are playing with confidence, proving what they can do when they just keep the ball in hand. Seema sends it sky high, middle of the field. Feeks putting it into space toward the sideline. Oh, and he might have wanted that ball to bounce forward as opposed to at right angles. But that keeps the Seawolves under pressure within their 22. Can they possibly upset them at line-out time now?
Looks like we're seeing some subs come in as the fatigue and the wear and tear takes its toll on the starters. This has been a brutal game so far, as we've mentioned. The brawl in the bayou here, that many phases right by the try line. That takes a lot out of a guy. Of course, combined effort, all the forwards, all the backs thrown in there to try to stop these goal line charges, make a good goal line stand.
Ed, if they want to get it, just do it. I can't hear your radio. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you, Ed. No, they just made a change.
Some technical difficulties happening here on the sideline with the officials. The ref saying, keep this thing moving. There's momentum in this game. He doesn't want to see anything stopping it.
Give me one step.
So Malcolm May enter the field of play. In exchange for, it looks like Thompson's off, and they have upset them at line-out time. So the Gold, an opportunity to extend their lead. Charging forward, same way. That's Falcon. Now it comes back to the other replacement, Sullivan, and he's lost it, and that's gone to ground again. But the Seawolves have it. Squandered opportunity by the Gold. Bring it midfield. Comes back now to Seema. Seema sending it long. Such a great kicker with ball out of hand and on the tee equally. Quick line out by Foley to Eloff. Slips. Seema chases his own kick, makes the tackle. Feek steps in to scrum half. And that is a penalty to the Gold.
Seawolves leaving their feet there. Again, could be a potentially dangerous play. The ref's going to blow up when he sees that. You can make that extra effort on the tackle, but you have to stay on your feet. Interesting opportunity here. I suspect NOLA Gold will probably go for touch, try to get a position deep right next door to the Seawolves' door.
Eloff. Little wobbly, but exactly where he wanted it to go.
Could barely ask for a better one. That sets up his team really nicely. NOLA Gold been so good in the lineouts this game. So good. Stealing a few from the Seawolves, creating some opportunities. This is a crucial one right here with the score and the time on the clock.
Are they close enough to pull it down and drive? They're around 10 meters out from the try line. You see the defense pouring through, thwarting the driving effort of the Gold. So now it comes out to the backs. Not the best way. The backs want the ball. It's like, here, we couldn't do it. You have it. But they're slowing it down. Resetting. So still in a commanding position. Falcon. Youngett comes in, looks both ways.
Seven, just hold there.
Finds Dottie, flat-footed. He does well to get over the advantage line. Youngett now to the replacement, Malcolm May. Zigzagging their way toward the try line now. are the NOLA Gold. Harmon. Here comes Howden again. Flat pass out to Blewett. Can he get over the try line? Yes, of course he can. Howden stepping up again, taking the reins, finding Blewett, and aren't they ecstatic?
For the third consecutive match, Tristan Blewett scores and scores in a very wide open manner. What exciting. They go up right now 32-24.
Watch this ball movement. There's Howden. He makes you miss. He's a dangerous fella. Gets it over to Tristan Blewett, who puts it right where he wants to, under the cross beams and right in front of a thrilled NOLA Gold VIP tents, who are just ecstatic right now with how close this game is and how competitive it's been. To make a play like that is absolutely clutch for your team.
And for the new viewers, that's the reason he kept running, because they don't score officially a try till you touch the ball on the ground. They want to set it up for an easier conversion.
Smart rugby there too. Smart rugby there too. Not content just to go over the line and say, I got a diving try, but to put it exactly where it would set up his kicker.
And speaking of tries, that is the fourth try for the NOLA Gold. There's the conversion by J.P. Eloff. He is perfect today, but that's the fourth try for the NOLA Gold, which once again for the third straight match gives them a bonus point in the standings.
Okay, we've seen how fast things can change, especially in this game with these teams. NOLA Gold 10-point lead now. Little bit of breathing room, but I say both teams here have opportunities. If you take your foot off the gas for a second, the Seawolves are going to be striking right at your door again.
Benzema sending it long, forcing the Gold to make their way out, and that's a huge kick from. We just have a look at this try here, again from the Gold, and there was nothing fancy about this at all. It was just Taylor Howden coming in, injecting pace. They had enough defenders there in green jerseys, but it was the flat pass right on the defense to Blewett with the acceleration. Simple as that sometimes.
And let me stress this, because if he doesn't get to the center of the field for the try, that means he might have a tougher conversion from the end. There'll be maybe an 8-point lead instead of a 10-point lead, and it made it easy.
So that's experience from Blewett to do that, Scott Alexander, you're right. And Eloff straight through. He's got one to beat. Looks left, looks right. He'll go himself. Foley in support. Steps in, gives it to Kosuva, and back-to-back tries for the Gold. They're racing away with this match now with under 8 minutes to play.
Gold Stadium erupts. All of the fans here are thrilled. So close. This game was down to 3 points, and in less than 2 minutes, we've had 2 tries from NOLA Gold. Look at how this one came together. Some really unlikely plays here. This started on the 50. Look at J.P. Eloff go. That's what we were telling you earlier in the game. He has that dangerous ability, goes over to Foley, and then boom, right in to finish it on number 11. That's JoJo for you. Boom.
That was actually a costly miss by Phil Mack, which again is uncharacteristic. He raced out on Eloff, and Eloff has magic feet. Just easily beats Mack, gets into the clear, and he had a player left and a player right.
We saw earlier, Mark, how JP could do these. Eloff had these chances to break here or there. Like, you could see the momentum building with him, and then he finally just ripped one off right there, right when his team needed it to really give them that exclamation point on their lead.
And this is what I was talking about earlier with the tough conversion, because they scored on this side of the field, so they bring it out.
In that case, you want to take any try you can get after a run like that. So that was your diving try by Kosuva to bring it in. Of course, very challenging for the kicker.
Eloff,
it's good.
What a conversion. J.P. Eloff.
Still perfect for the day.
A lot of high fives here in the stadium after that one. Bated breath from the NOLA Gold fans. That was an extremely challenging kick. You have to imagine back home how narrow the angle the kicker was presented with on that one.
Just make sure he goes off and we'll play. Yeah.
But NOLA Gold have scored 41 points against the defending champions here in Gold Stadium. As it stands, They have maximum points, 15 of a possible 15 in 3 games. But this game is not over. Still, 7 minutes to play.
Good gap. Get with him. Yeah, thank
Around
you.
6.
This scoring keeps up, Mark. It's starting to remind me of another pro team that plays here in New Orleans, known for its offense.
Is that the basketball team you're talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about the one and only New Orleans Saints. A lot of Saints fans who are converting to rugby.
Matt Turner does well to pull in the pass of Seema. Went slightly behind him at full pace. Deschelle juggles, it goes backwards, so play on. Says the referee, Derek Summers. Phil Mack offloading. That's Tucker right on the halfway line. Seawolves running out of ounces now. Need to do something quickly. Seema, flat pass. Bustling run.
Stay there.
Same way for the Seawolves. Strong defensive effort coming in. Quick ball. Seema looked like he knocked it on, and he did. Wasn't expecting that one.
I see him. Ball forward. Time off.
Knock on stops it, but of course looks like we have a significant NOLA injury.
How about the scoring this season for the NOLA Gold? The graphic came up right before I could say it. 36 points. They're the highest scoring team in week 1. Ditto week 2 at 40, and today 41. This team is exciting. They score in every different manner. Earlier it was down low in those little fullback type situations getting the score, and this time they're just getting these wide open scores from the outside.
41 points. They make it look easy when you see a score like that, but it has been anything but. Seawolves, we've been praising their defense all game long, and for good reason. They're a come up and smash you kind of defense. NOLA Gold has been able to evade, been able to show the skill, the movement, the teamwork, the coordination, the no-quit attitude.
Got a player down right now for the NOLA Gold. I got to get a good look at his face. I can't see. Oh, that's Zach Striffler, who's obviously one of the mainstays of this team. Played last season, got a try last week. We'll see if he's seriously injured.
Just
walking off under his own power. That's good.
Saw number 20, Caleb Meyer, running on, and that's obviously for Striffler. We have another replacement as well.
Ed, we good on the numbers? Yeah? Okay. Time on.
Looks like Bryant enters the field. Matt Harmon coming off as Biden's.
Crouch.
So emptying the bench now.
Fine.
Nate Osborne, head coach of the Gold.
Set.
As Youngett feeds.
Let's use it.
Big shove by Seawolves. Eloff
6,
into
stop.
space.
Now you're on. Yeah, good, good.
Tiberio has a difficult ball to pull in, does well.
Keep moving, keep moving. Good.
Looks like Scott Dean, who's on the field, sends it down to the counter-attack. Feeks into open space. Seema getting across. Gets to the ball. He'll have a run. Using his man as a shield. Could have been a penalty. Howden. Oh, and just over the sideline. That was Foley coming in to help Howden out.
Seawolves probably fortunate to avoid a penalty on that one. Looked like one of their men was, as you said, being a shield.
Here, White.
Human shield in that case.
Getting it in quickly are the Seawolves as they need to. Deschelle, the beast, he's been one of the standout performers in the second half for both teams. Mack, quick ball to Seema. Suniula fires it out to Tiberio. Getting it quickly, you can see the tempo now that the Seawolves are playing. Feeks coming straight over the top.
Just leave it.
Leaving it.
Yeah, just leave it.
Avoiding
You're
a penalty.
unprotected. Trucking.
Hands into the middle of the field. Holding firm, and Tiberio straight through. He's got one to beat. Feeks gives chase. Finally puts him down. Great support by Nick Feeks.
Entry.
Here come the Seawolves. Slow ball. Penalty to the Seawolves. They'll go quickly. You can count on that.
Tackle entry. All the way around.
No, they won't.
Charging onto that ball. What a break! Look at him move. He has everything right in front of him. Feeks saves a try with that tackle. Looks like he might be a little banged up for the effort, however.
He's on his feet. Nick Feeks.
Hold on, time off, we got a head.
Tough little
Good
Aussie.
sub here.
Fly half, originally from Canberra, Australia's capital. Spent some time at Lindenwood. And again, Chicago Lions 7 specialist. Multiple national championship appearances.
Michael Baska coming on now for the gold.
Seawolves. Looks like it may just be consolation for them as the clock ticks to nearly 1 minute left to play. They trail 41 points to 24. Same way for the Seawolves. Charging through, straight through the hole. What a run! And the Seawolves now have the bonus point 4th try. Important for them.
No quit here, Mark. That's a team effort. You've seen the pace from the minute they got the ball. It's on. They know what the score is. They know what the clock is saying. They're saying, we want that 4th try. We want to keep driving. We want to see what we can do here with the injury time that's built up. Never say never in rugby. And you see it coming right out of the ruck there to your big man, makes the break, shrugs off a would-be tackler, and plants it under the uprights for his man to kick the conversion.
Well, Rickett Hadding there, the try scorer. Just see him. Brilliant work from him. He was caught in the ruck earlier on. He recycled himself, came around the corner, and charged onto that straight through the hole, right on the defensive line. That was a beautiful try for the Seawolves. And they could get 2 bonus points if not to win this game.
If they get under 7.
If they get under 7, exactly right, Scott Alexander. But they're not going to do it that way. With the ball bobbling around the ground, Seema asked to clean up again. Pressurizing defense, forcing the Seawolves on the back foot. As they crawl their way up through George Barton to the 22. Better play from the Seawolves. Making some yards. Seema, Suniula, through the hands of Tucker to Hatting, the try scorer. And he might be away. Gets it back in. It bubbles over the sideline. Touch judge has the flag up. He says, Seawolves throw in. Phil Mack throws a cheeky little one into the back of Elof. And it's full time here with a line out to play. They can't win the game, but they could earn a bonus point. The Seawolves. Exciting finish either way. To the back of the line out. It's play on. Mack to Seema. Behind to Suniula. Fires it over the top to Tiberio. Puts it on the toe. It's deflected into touch. And that'll be full time. So they've denied Seattle not just the win, but a losing bonus point. NOLA Gold on top of the table.
What a thrilling game from the first whistle to the last. I absolutely loved the play that we saw out here today. We had a few bobbles, we had some penalties that didn't have to happen, of course, but what you saw out there was great try scoring, you saw expert kicking, you saw hard come up and smash them defense. This is rugby, this is Major League Rugby right now in America, and I'm loving it. This is fantastic to see these two teams contesting and to see how much things have changed from season to season. The NOLA Gold just won their 3rd game. Last season, that's the number of wins they had total. And Seattle owned them last year. They gave up a close game to Seattle here at home, and then later on got rolled by Seattle on the road. NOLA Gold is saying with this win, times have changed.
Well, here are the standings in NOLA Gold. As you said, top of the table, 3-0, 15 bonus points for the season. 3 today, obviously.
Yeah, look at that, three games and now 15. That is maximum points, as we said. And taking advantage of these home games, so crucial, as you mentioned. On the other hand, Austin Elite at the bottom, they've had 3 home games. It's going to be a mountain to climb for them. They've lost all 3 at home, so just a contrast between the top and the bottom. But one thing's for sure, it's still a close contest in this Major League Rugby competition.
We'll be back for some more NOLA Gold Rugby right here on Cox Sports Television. NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being brought to NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being brought to you by Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the official beer of the NOLA Gold. By Boomtown, the official hotel and casino of the NOLA Gold. By Louisiana Tourism. Don't live in the moment, be the moment. Visit louisianatourism.com to plan your trip today. By Washington Federal, your banking team partner for more than 100 years and awarded Best Bank by Money Magazine. By Elysian Brewing, the official craft beer sponsor of the Seattle Seawolves. Together, they have released Scrum, an Irish dry stout. Available now. Together we hunt. And by Ivar's Seafood. Seawolves, it's the perfect match. Ivar's restaurants have been serving up award-winning seafood since 1938. Stop by Ivar's for Seattle's original seafood. Well, guys, what a great match for the third consecutive week. The NOLA Gold go 3-0. Hey, I must mention, hey, Tristan Blewett and Taylor Houghton got their third tries of the season, but the guy that's been scoring the points is J.P. Eloff. You see Houghton right there. He had 14 more points. He's got 38 on the season. He leads the MLR in total points, and I can't go without mentioning Brock Stoller on the other side. He had 11 points today for 34. What a great match, Mark.
Oh, amazing match. An absolute pleasure to watch and a pleasure to call. What's fantastic is that Gold are continuing to play their brand of rugby, and no team can stop them. 41 points. They've had the highest scoring of the league, probably in history, in just the first 3 rounds. Exciting stuff for the home crowd.
It's a Sunday night, but you know in New Orleans there's going to be some partying going on. If you're a NOLA Gold fan, if you're a NOLA Gold player, there's a lot to celebrate. A 3-0 start is magnificent. These are all been home games, but they've been against such quality opponents. The Toronto Arrows, the Glendale Raptors, the runner-up last year, and the champions, the Seawolves. These have all been quality wins, one statement after the next.
And next week, it's Rooney, Rugby United of New York, coming to town. I cannot wait for that one. The NOLA Gold should be at full strength with all the international players coming back, and of course a couple from injury. But they did it this week, maybe not at full strength, but still a great roster that Tim Fitzgerald has put together. Ryan Fitzgerald, I should say. Hey, thanks for joining us for NOLA Gold Rugby. Catch our next telecast Saturday at 2 p.m. as the Gold Battle of Rugby United New York. For Scott Alexander and Ethan Nolte, I'm Scott Alexander. Mark Sabina.
We're all just glad to be